we have a match with no nice intro, but it's still a match for the international too. Group stage is Complexity versus TongFu, and game number 1 this is, and it's gonna be a Radiant side for Complexity, and I am Sheever, and I am casting / co-casting with TriumphOfMan.
TriumphOfMan, yes,
I
indeed. Also
call you
special
Tom.
shout out.
Are you actually? You're
Tom,
not called Tom,
Go.
right?
Oh no. My name is actually David.
Again?
David. It was a bit of a running joke that there are a lot of Davids casting. Myself, Lumi, Gods, LD.
Yeah.
Way too many.
Way too many. Okay, because Tom, that's the name too. TriumphOfMan. Makes sense. Easier to use. But yeah. Game number 1, and which is actually game number 7 for us to cast today.
Yes, indeed. So let's see what we can kick off here. TongFu versus Complexity. TongFu are in fine form. Complexity sort of started a little bit. They had a good start, but have sort of flagged a little bit. So we'll see if they can get back into shape. But they have banned off the Chen as well as that Invoker. The Naga, though, no surprise that that's getting knocked out straight away. Also, special shout out to Bogdanovic, who I've noticed has jump ship from my stream to Sheever's. Shout out to you, Bog. I can see you there in the chat. But Sheever, I think we're going to see... I don't know, do you think we might even see that Lycan sneak through again? I mean, he's managed to sneak through for a couple of the US teams so far.
Sorry, as I must see it again, Complexity sneaking through a couple of the US teams, or what do you mean?
Lycan has snuck through a couple of times for the US teams. In fact, EG keeps getting their hands on him, so I'm just wondering if Complexity might even get their grubby little mitts on him this time round.
They do
have the first bet. Nope, never mind.
I don't think TC really likes to play the Lycan.
This is true. This is very true. Actually, I really want to see a JO Doom. His speed demon build is actually a lot of fun, but I haven't seen it in ages. Just haven't seen Doom in that long.
I was gonna say Doom, really.
I know. It's just been a long time, but it was fun. It was a really fun build, but man, just haven't seen him in that long though.
I don't think this is the right time for Doom though. This is not the right tournament for to try out stuff like that. We still have a Nature's Prophet in the pool, by the way, as well as a Rubik. Let's see which is going to be first. And Rubik banned out. Okay, so Nature's Prophet still in the pool. Complexity could pick that one up, and I am expecting in their second picking phase or second picking rounds in a moment they're going to pick up a Tidehunter. I have
definitely possible. I mean, we've got
so much predicting powers. Hannah Montana. I have not seen him play anything else but a Tidehunter, I think, the last couple of days.
Oh, if they can get their hands on... I mean, I honestly feel it's a hero that we could have seen in the last match. Like, in the last match, it really would have benefited AL in that last game. It's just that it got banned out. And it came in a DK really knowing what they were doing there. But burning through their time here, they're really thinking about this one. Decided to go straight into the overtime, kicking it off here. What are they going to go with? Will it be this Titan you speak of? Or we've got plenty... Oh, they've got plenty of choices, a lot of good heroes. If they want to go for the junglers too, I mean, they're available as well. If they want to pick up some of those really, really nasty junglers, they are available.
And, actually Enchanted and Enigma. But Nature's Prophet it is, and I'm kind of hoping maybe instead of a Morphling for TC, maybe a Tiny.
Oh god, a Tiny. I haven't seen one of those in a while either. Those are also so much fun. The Wombo combo Tiny, and then just going that late game with the Arcanum Scepter, it actually just tears down towers. You leave anything near him, will smack it to bits. The double pick for TongFu though, I'm kind of expecting to see some nasty fun. I really expect them to pick out something. We could even see the Lone Druid again. The Chinese teams have really been favouring that Lone Druid.
Yeah, for sure. It is, I mean, we've just seen Burning just getting 2 wins with it, which could be indeed it's only the Lone Druid that got those kills, or at least only, of course, teamwork and stuff. But the Lone Druid definitely doing the work there. We still have the Morphling in the pool as well, though, and that was, of course, heroes that DK weren't able to be picked up because they were banned out. So let's see what TongFu wants to go for actually. And what I would like to see here is a Queen of Pain. Oh, there's the Lone Druid first. Queen of Pain being played by Hao. I would like that.
Oh, that would be awesome. But I don't think you're going to see it because Hao is more than likely to be playing that Lone Druid right now. In fact, this is probably, I think it's the 3rd or 4th game in a row I've seen him running that Lone Druid. Well, I assume he's going to be running that Lone Druid. I think if they're going to have a Queen of Pain, it'll probably go to Mu, more than likely, I feel.
That's sad.
Leshrac. Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's another really solid pick too. Leshrac is really just, he is the new Windrun. He is the new Black. They pick him up every single time. Just go, you know what, you fit anywhere. We'll figure out what we're going to do with you a little bit later. But at the very least, they're going for that aggressive pushing. Like they want to get aggressive with the pushing at around about the 20-minute mark, and Leshrac can really help facilitate that. And he's got lots of other good, useful things, like being able to throw out good... The stun isn't fantastic, but it's still useful. It's still definitely useful. And the amount of damage you can deal is ridiculous at points in time. The complexity. Sheever, what do you think they might snap up next?
Tidehunter and a carry for TC. Or Tidehunter and a jungle hero. Or maybe not Tidehunter at all, but I do think there's going to be a Tidehunter regardless on complexity. Maybe they think they can let it go through to the last bet picking phase. There could be, in which case, I mean, Enchantress and Enigma are still in, but yeah.
I was hoping so. They're actually going to go with the Venomancer. So we've got some good push power here between both the Nature's Prophet and the Venomancer. So if they pick up a hard carry right now, it will be a little ballsy. Although I wouldn't mind them picking up Morphling now, except for the fact that they are up against a lot of push. I feel if they pick up this Morphling, it's already they don't have that much teamfight available. They've got Nature's Prophet. Venomancer, his ult is nice, but he doesn't have that much damage in a teamfight, especially if he's going for the ward build. And it's going to come into the fact that if Lone Druid, like, how farms really, really fast.
At least
if they let that go.
Sorry.
There we go. No, it's fine. It's fine. You know, if they get the, I felt if they went for the hard carry now, if they go for any kind of hard carry, that Hao is going to punish them for it, just because he farms so fast. It's pretty much like trying to stop the Chinese farmers is extremely difficult. Like we saw, despite Burning getting destroyed in the early phase against Absolute Legends, he comes back and he's got a 19-minute radiance. I struggle to get a freaking 20-minute radiance on a good game. Yeah, just so damn good at it. They are really disciplined, extremely precise in their last hitting, and they know exactly when and where they cannot farm. They have such great map awareness. But now the final pick here, Sheever. Any predictions? You got the Tidehunter right there. What are you calling?
Well, if you're saying that Hao is going to be a Lone Druid, either a jungle hero or maybe Shadow Shaman.
I think it's definitely possible. Yeah, definitely possible. And they go with the Beastmaster. Okay.
I wasn't expecting that.
Interesting choice. It's good for their suicide lane. Like, yeah. Beastmaster, he can, especially those on the die, it's easy for him to just, if he comes under a lot of pressure, if Complexity don't bother blocking the Ancient, he just goes over the Ancient, just throws axes at it, and stacks them, and he actually gets a fair amount of farm off that. It's actually not a bad option, and then he also has really, really good map control, which is something that they are going to have to watch out for. I enjoy, and in fact, this is a hero that Complexity put to absolutely excellent use. Complexity have fantastic smoke ganks, and they often run a Beastmaster with it, and this Hawk, just having that scout ahead is so useful just to make sure they get into the right positions without having the smoke knocked off them.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that they picked up this Beastmaster. And of course, if they pick up anything problematic like Storm Spirit, or if they go for a Morphling, something, just Beastmaster and go, bam, you're locked down. 4 seconds in the late game, you just can't do anything about it, regardless of what items he buys.
Lincoln Spear.
Well, you know, you can knock that off. You can just go, well, I've got a medallion, and there goes your Lincoln Spear, and then I'll hit you with Raw. It's good, but it's expensive, and they can deal with it.
Yeah, and they got
now the bands come out.
Yeah, Brewmaster. I'm wondering. I don't think TongFu would have gone for that. Of course, I mean, if you look at just the heroes, Lone Druid later game, you want to give Lone Druid time to farm. So you're going for heroes that can have presence early on, which is the Beastmaster in this case. Maybe something else, maybe something team fighting, which the Brewmaster would have been. But still, a Sand King would be possible as well. Sand King and Leshrac, great combination, even though I have noticed that Asians like Earthshaker Leshrac more often, even though we haven't really seen Earthshaker all that much today, like not at all, I believe. And we still have the jungle heroes in. Quite surprising at that.
I honestly don't know if we'll see a jungle here. I agree, like the team fight presence, they really could have used that from the Brewmaster, and it's likely they could have slotted that in. Brewmaster would have fit into their solo mid, they could have run that there, they have Leshrac supporting the Lone Druid if necessary, and then have like another roaming gank, or like what we've seen. Like we saw, which game was it? I think it was actually TongFu. They were just pulling so well, their pulls were so good, just pulling non-stop, and they were essentially jungling with 2 support heroes at the same time, just through creep pulls.
And they were
getting because they've got Lone Druid in the lane.
Yeah, they were getting more than the opponent team who actually had a solid jungle hero.
Yeah.
Definitely true.
Yeah, like the issue is with pulling non-stop like that is if you've got something like a Morphling down there, it's just very difficult to keep the creep off the tower. And if your carry sits down there and just sort of tanks the damage, he takes a lot of damage from the creep because they're not that tough. But with Lone Druid, not an issue because he's got the bear. The bear takes all the damage, and Lone Druid doesn't really care all that much. So they can afford just to pull non-stop. Whereas often, you really don't want to pull too much except to return the creep wave to equilibrium, or if your supports are really struggling on the farm. But the final ban there will be the Shadow Demon, so they'll keep that out of their hands. And Shadow Demon definitely has some crazy good saves. Save plays that he can make with the disruptions. And also, it's really good for setting up stuff. Like, if you pair that with Leshrac, it's really good for setting up stuff like the Split Earth. But they have actually gone for the Jungler Sheever. There's the Enchantress.
Yep, and it means that we're still waiting on a hero for TC to play, and since it's gonna be the last pick, it is still possible for it to be a Tiny, even though, yeah, it definitely still is possible for it to be a Tiny. With the Tidehunter solo lane, we've known that from Hannah Montana's, Nature's Prophet solo lane, and a Tiny could just mill it up, and Venomancer doesn't even need to stick around for the Tiny to be there. And I have been told the Tiny has been picked up by Complexity earlier, yesterday as well, in the group stage of the International too. So we might see that. Other than that, there's still, of course, a lot of carries still in, so no real rush for, or no real hard decision for Complexity to make. Anti-Mage, Faceless Void, if they want to have.
I honestly,
like
I don't think they should pick a high. I think they will suffer if they pick a high. And Void could have worked. They had something like a big AoEs to go with it. Like, they have a couple of big AoEs, but they don't really work with well. Like something that's difficult to hit. Like, you put Void and Ancient Apparition together, it's just so easy to land those big Ice Blasts, or even just throw in something like a Darkseer. Just the vacuums work really well with the Void. I feel if they pick up an AM now, they're going to suffer. Because Lone Druid is going to hit critical mass, and they have really good push. Beastmaster, his aura is really good for pushing. Chaos Knight isn't too shabby either, and they have Leshrac and Lone Druid there as well. It really, I think they will struggle, to be dead honest. Morphling might have fit if they got the fast Ethereal Blade. They could just pick people off, snipe Leshrac repeatedly, but he's banned, obviously, so I don't know. They could indeed go for something.
Woohoo!
Oh, there we go. They're going to go for Tiny. You've got it right.
Woohoo! I like being right. Just pointing it out. In case you didn't realize with my exclamation. But yeah, well, fits into their lineup, to be fair. And Chaos Knight...
Sorry, you go.
Well, Chaos Knight... I said the Sand King or Earthshaker with Leshrac, but Chaos Knight is actually a good combination, of course, as well with Leshrac. And also a hero that is doing the same role as the Earthshaker and as Earthshaker and Sand King, in a way that with levels he'll get his power. Like level 8 he'll be able to just kill off stuff. Of course it's not the same kind of team fight that you're expecting from the Tidehunter, but that's why they picked up a Disruptor, to have some sort of team fight going on, and that is a very powerful team fight ability, especially if you're going to be versus a Venomancer. Enchanters, they're going to drop. Tidehunter won't be able to throw down a Ravage if he's in there. And of course, Nature's Prophet versus Glimpse. He's not going to be very happy.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Should also mention that Thrall works really well with Chaos Knight. Just the reality riff, it makes it it generally makes it very easy for them to drag him somewhere, or like within the general vicinity of that force field. We should probably call out the heroes here, so I'm probably going to call it I'll take Complexity. So we've got Fluff and Stuff on Enchantress, J.O. on Nature's Prophet, TC playing Tiny, Hannah Montana on the Tidehunter, and XMike88 on the Venomancer, their final support player there.
Yeah, and on the top lane we have got Awoke playing the Beastmaster. Actually, everybody's on the top lane, so I'm not going to say that. Awoke on the Beastmaster, Kabu on the Leshrac this time, How indeed on the Lone Druid, Sunshine on the Disruptor, with Moo closing the line on his Chaos Knight. And I just found it entertaining. I saw the movie in the International Day 2 Complexity movie was out today. And you saw Complexity, they had their pictures taken and stuff like that, and they did their interviews, so they had to do makeup, because the production of International 2 is so far that they indeed give players makeup and do it that way. But I'm just seeing these people running, or these players running, and I see the makeup being done there and the music behind it. You should watch the movie, by the way. It's just hilarious.
I will look it up then.
Yeah,
I will look it up. I have actually.
And then, yeah.
Okay.
We have a pause. No explanation.
Oh, Hannah Montana's keyboard broke. Okay. Random thing to have happen there, but as it is, I'm just looking. I am really expecting Beastmaster to go in that suicide lane. The question is, This might actually be a dual. I feel this is going to be similar to what we saw Dara playing constantly yesterday. Is the dual mid Chaos Knight, and they'll probably be running that with either Leshrac or the Disruptor. I think possibly more likely Leshrac, just because they have a lot more firepower available, and basically Sansheng can focus on looking after Disruptor, especially if Sansheng is carrying the counter wards. He's probably going to just hang around and just get ready to remove the blocking wards if Complexity actually put any down.
Sorry, I'm finding that the comments funny from Final. You teleported someone to the room of Complexity.
That shitty wizard.
I know, right? I know.
Indeed.
It's
Final,
fun though.
of course,
I mean,
the guy behind the shitty wizard.
Yeah, and then there's a keyboard proc, which happens a lot. I mean, if you're casting, there's gonna be a lot of pauses and keyboards and mice that die and stuff like that. But I never actually saw someone saying, "I'll send someone over there." I mean, that's possible. LAN events, great stuff. And the bear is not coming at the room.
So Awoke is.
And Rune is on the bottom lane indeed. Awoke on with the illusion rune, who's gonna be up versus Tidehunter. So Beastmaster versus Tidehunter, both should be fine. They're both quite tanky heroes and shouldn't die all too fast. Mid lane, dual lane. Oh, that's gonna be terrible. Are you still there?
I'm still here. Yeah, no, I'm just looking at the top. Very interesting ward placement there by Sanjay. Basically, he's actually blocked his own hard cap. I think this is possible, not so much because he was expecting Fluff and stuff to wind up there. I think he was just trying to keep that pull away from them.
Nice.
He was trying to make sure they could not pull that hard camp. So yeah, they're interesting ward block, but it is going to work out in their favour, especially with Enchantress in the enemy jungle. However, it looks like he may be in a small amount of danger, as he is actually going to throw a nuke at Enchantress and then need to back up immediately because there are two heroes in here hunting him. And Enchantress will now take the far hard camp and will proceed to chase him out of the jungle with that. And they're willing to come up with another plan here, but this is a very aggressive lane up against Hao.
Yeah, that's for sure, indeed. And yeah, I like them. Warding their own jungle. I mean, they don't have a jungle hero themselves, so they can just do that with no problem. It will mean that Sunshine is gonna be having some issues here with putting the lane also, because their jungle is just dominated. Oh, nice. He still gets it. But their jungle is just dominated with complexity heroes right now. And that's not something
And
that
Awoke
you
is
want
actually not knowing to need. No, definitely not. But Awoke is actually not needing to go and stack the Ancients at the moment, because he is up against a melee hero. He's already up against Hannah Montana, so this is actually a pretty decent lane for him. Although Hannah Montana does have a bit of an advantage because he can spam the crap out of Anchor Smash, and he will win out over Axis in the end, just because every time Hannah Montana comes in to actually farm, there we go, he's just slapping him time and time again with that Anchor Smash. Although that said, once the boar comes out, which actually Awoke has it now, this is where it becomes tricky, because that boar is going to slow him non-stop and harass him non-stop. That said, Sheever, this mid lane looks extremely painful for Jo.
Indeed. One reality rift, and that's gonna be it for him. He is gonna die. Especially now that there's level 2 there on that Chaos Knight. He's just, yeah, and it also means he's gonna die if the Leshrac would be there. Leshrac picked up an invisibility move, so that's a guaranteed stun for him. But he's walking straight over a sentry ward, so they know he has that. They know he's coming, and look at Jo, he's just gonna go into the jungle for now until he finds that he's safe. He's just gonna continue keeping those creeps, at least keeping the farm off, because he can't go to where his creep wave is right now. It's just too much risk going there. In the meantime, top lane is still having some issues, or at least having some trades with creep waves being pulled and denied and not being denied. At least Hao is still getting some farm. 8 for 1. Considering the difficult lane he's in on, at least he's getting some farm. Can't really call it all too well. On the middle lane, Chaos Knight is getting a lot of farm. 15 for 6, with the Tiny being slightly behind there on 14 for 3. So comparison to those, I mean, both of those heroes, both the Tiny and the Chaos Knight at level 8, is their prime time is starting around 10. Then they have their combo 1, then they have their spells complete, their Q and their W spells complete to start killing off heroes. So we're gonna see around the same time them being aggressive and trying to take kills, probably. As I'm curious to see which one would survive the combination of each other if they're actually gonna go one-on-one fight. But yeah, we'll see that.
Then we got possible gank here on Kabu. That Nature's Prophet does actually cancel the port and decides not to go for it. Kabu, like, what the hell are you doing up here? There he goes. He goes for the Reality Rift in the mid lane, pulls it off. Unfortunately, combO is way out of position to actually make anything happen when that Moo decides not to burn mana on that Casper. Although he does have a full bottle, he could actually start spamming that if he wanted to, but they can go for kills pretty soon. I do think, though, going into the mid game, if TongFu don't start abusing the weaker lanes that Complexity are presenting, because they are running a double jungle at the moment, that, well, basically Complexity are going to have a huge advantage because they're tapping more sources of income for both experience and XP. But of course, they do have a farming bear, which, as we've seen, can be extremely crippling once he gets that early Radiance up.
I mean, a lot is gonna be for this matchup, for this lineup. Wow, Bear, Gale. This is gonna be the first blood on the Bear. He's gonna die. It's not gonna be an in-game sound for it, but still, his 100 gold going towards fluff and stuff shouldn't be neglected. And yeah, I think this game is gonna depend on how well the early game is, because that's what both teams kind of depend on. Of course, there's Lone Druid. He's kind of the only late game insurance that is there for either team. TongFu just having that secured if he gets his farm up, but for Complexity, they need that TC to snowball. Nature's Prophet, of course, could still be big regardless. A net up on Sunshine here. There's gonna be a slow there. Might be a Gale TP in there. Sprout there. Sunshine, he's gonna be the first blood. Gale doesn't hit. He ate his way through. There's still gonna be a Centaur, but he doesn't walk to base. He walks towards his tier 2 tower. One more right click away, and that is the kill. Enchantress picking it up. Fluff and stuff, securing the first blood. Well, the Chaos Knight comes in from the side, picks off the Venomancer. I'm not sure where Yeo is gonna go, by the way. That is not his base. Where is he gonna go? He's gonna try to have the tower getting the last hit, perhaps, but no, he's Lone Druid picking that one up. In the meantime, the chase is still on. Leshrac popping his Edict. He's gonna make sure that he gets out of there safe. Fluff and stuff. Pops his Nature's Attendance. Here comes a Rogue, though. He left his bottom lane with the haste rune. He has access still, and it does a lot of damage. Here comes Moo as well, and that will be another kill for TongFu. Chaos Knight, that is now 2 kills for him. 3-2-1. And yeah, massive fight in favor of TongFu, even though the first blood did go to Complexity. Am I now saying it properly? Yeah.
Complexity, I believe so.
Yeah. They got first blood.
But yeah, going into this late game, TongFu. I think TongFu honestly had the advantage. Like, sure, the Lone Druid, it's more the Chaos Knight. He can actually hit really hard because his illusions do 400. His illusions do 100% damage. You see the raw Hannah Montana here. He's in a lot of trouble. I don't think he can escape from this. As we're gonna have Leshrac try and run him. Leshrac is pretty much as fast as him. Yeah, easy kill there. DD rune there on a Woke as well. But when it comes down to, like, you've got your illusions, and they do an absolute crap load of damage. A couple of crits out of Moo from each illusion, and whoever he's focusing will drop extremely fast. As long as he can find the right time and to get in there without getting his illusions focused down, he can really shred people extremely quickly. So there is that. There is definitely that. And when the bear is going to be leading the charge, I think he can find those gaps.
Definitely. Even though he should stop dying, he just died on the top lane. Venomancer picking up that kill, and I kind of missed the kill itself, but a Lone Druid dying is not really ideal, and of course it was 2 versus 2 from the looks of it, with Disruptor there as well, but shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen. I think, yeah, caught out of position, probably. Tiny, level 7 now, so he's almost ready to kill off those people with that deadly combination of 4 Toss and Avalanche. And Beastmaster, I don't know why he's there. He gets picked off. 3 versus 1. Not even a Ravage Dude for that. It was Fluff and stuff coming out of the jungle. Jo TPing in, and Hannah Montana, who is of course already on that lane, and again picking off a hero. And it's now 3 for 4.
Honestly, I suspect that Lone Druid may have been picked up. It's very hard to stay in position, like in a good position against Tiny, just because I suspect they may have thrown Venomancer at him, and like it's pretty hard to miss a point blank Gale like that. And then you follow up with a stun, a couple of auto attacks, and Lone Druid is very easy to kill. But they pick off Venomancer in retaliation. There's currently a push though by Complexity, gonna try and take this bottom tower down here. TongFu definitely working this pretty well for the moment, but it looks like they are gonna lose this bottom tower, and they don't really have a response here. Although how is gonna work them? Actually, they might. They could take mid if no. The ports are coming to defend this. Although the bear is doing a fair amount of damage, and he's just pushing this up, making sure it's buying time for this catapult to do its work.
Yeah, and there's no fortification either. So he will be... Oh, there is at least IX Mike trying to do something. TP in from Yeo, but he still gets a tower. Takes a Gale, though, is very slow right now. Is he going to be able to be away? There's no Sprout, no man on the Nature's Prophet, and here comes Leshrac helping out his teammate. Nice toss. How is going to drop? Tiny getting the kill. Edict doing a lot of damage. Yeo, here comes Moo getting the kill. IX Max is going to be the next target. No more mana left on the Chaos Knight, though, even though he has 2 bottle charges and stick charges. Roar up on TC. And that is a 2-second stun, and that is the tower picking up the last hit. Fluff will stop on the way out. Pops the Nature's Attendance is gonna try to make it out there. No more mana left on the Beastmaster, no more mana left on Mu, and that is gonna be it 2 for 1. But they did get the tower for TongFu, so it's a trade in favor for them. Even though if you count the tower on the bottom lane with that as well, of course, might not be slightly more even at that.
Keep in mind, the Radiant Courier just got sniped. It went into battle. It actually, apparently, mixed damage attacks actually hurt the Couriers. It got cleaned up by random, like, wild axes, which were not aimed at the Courier. They were being thrown at Tiny and just clipped the Courier and took it out. Yeah, so, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't realize that the Couriers could actually be targeted by mixed damage.
Yeah, I did, or at least I saw it once before, but that is... I didn't even notice that the Courier was there. And I'm doubting that that Awoke actually noticed that the Courier was there, because he tried to get the Enchantress, didn't he? Or something there. Or did he actually...
No, he wasn't aiming at that Courier. He wasn't aiming at it. He just hit. It was Tiny. He hit Tiny with Roar onto the tower and was just throwing axes at him. And Tiny happened to be getting something delivered at that particular moment. And just managed to hit the Courier in the end. It's unfortunate, but...
They want to kill off Mu here. He pops it Phantasm. There's a toss, and that's going to be a kill indeed. Nature's Prophet TPing in to snipe the kill away with TC. Yeah, he's looking pretty strong right now. He's about ready to pick up his grow, or level 1 grow. Tier 1 tower, there's no fortification, and again, nice toss. I mean, that is such an awesome combination of a Tiny and a Tidehunter. Who needs a Blink Dagger when someone can just throw you in and, you know, you can Ravage. Of course, there wasn't a Ravage there because there was no mana, but there, you know, no team fight. But we're gonna see that later on.
That's just what it comes down to. Tiny is just really difficult to stay out of his range, and he just throws stuff. He's been throwing Furion's been throwing everything. Just flip the table, throw everything at people, and when it comes down to it, it's just, he does a lot of damage. The Chuck does a lot of damage, and then just starts hammering people. He has gone for maxing out the Avalanche as well as the Toss as well. Just looking down in the bottom lane, how is Tidehunter doing? He's got his Ravage up and running. He's also got his Arcanes. That's the main thing. He really needs those. Some kind of mana booster like that to basically sort him out, because he's a greedy hero. He just doesn't have the pull to back it up.
Yep, and he is
Tiny actually going for drums.
Tiny looking for drums. Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah, he is too, yeah. He's doing extremely well. Tiny, though, currently leading the GPM at the moment with the Roar down the bottom lane. Hannah Montana has been hit there by that. Here comes the Split Earth follow-up. And it looks like Kraken Shell is not going to... Oh, wait, there we go. He's got counter-attack friends now. They're going to chuck in there. Going to chuck in there and actually take out the Leshrac. Also going to trap Awoke there. Awoke throwing axes at them. It looks like he's in some serious trouble, though, although Hannah Montana is completely out of mana. He's just going for body blocks now, although changes his mind and says, actually, I'm out. It's time to back off. We don't have line of sight here. I'm kind of low. Don't have the mana. Let's just get back.
Going to come back, though, or no, not. Never mind. We also had Enchantress being sniped out on the top lane by the Disruptor in the meantime, by the way. It happened around the same time, so at least TongFu got something back, and they are using that opportunity to push down on the tier 1 tower. But here comes TC, level 9, got his grow, gets the bear, and no respawn for Lone Druid just yet. And they're on the way, 4 seconds down. TC in a lot of trouble, is not going to be able to do anything under that cloud of silence. Reality Rift is going to be used here. Lone Druid going down. First one, nice toss, picks up the Disruptor, and Complexity just making sure that that dive was paid for dearly with 2 lives, and they were not able to take anything in return from TongFu's side at least. The tower still stands as well, so good defense, and 2 kills to boot.
Okay, just to answer a couple of questions in the ALTV channel chat. Who is the caster with me at the moment? This is Sheever casting with me. You can find her GGNet Sheever online as well. Also, what is the 50 CS at 10 minutes is generally the sort of, you want to aim for that to be at a decent level. Perfect CS at 10 minutes is 82. Oh, and the best we've seen has been burning 70. No. It's 20 creep each wave. There's 4 creep each wave. You get 20 by the 5-minute mark, and so you get 40 by the 5-minute mark, and then
2 siege creeps.
There's also 2 siege. Yeah, 2 siege. So 82.
Makes sense.
And then the best we've seen so far has definitely been burning 78 out of 82. That was absolutely insane.
That is insane.
It looks like they're going to dive on Tiny down here.
Ooh. And yeah, TongFu, are they going to stick around? No. Too risky. Ravage is going to be up again soon as well. 26 seconds. In the meantime, top lane though is going to be defended here. How is going to be slowed by Gale. Venomancer is on the run as well as the Enchantress. I don't think they're going to be able to pick off anything here. Even though Beastmaster was looking for the Roar, or is maybe still looking for the Roar. Here they come from the side. Reality Rift hits, stun, hits, 3 seconds. Thunder, static. damage, and I think, well, Glimpse there, back, Edict as well. Axis, he thought about it, and there they go. Chaos Knight actually picking up the kill though. A Thunder Strike that was, by the way. And that is at least something they got back from using those TPs and trying to go for something. But it's only an Enchantress kill.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it looks like Tiny's going to find himself a Nope. Awoke's going to nick that. Never mind. He's going to steal that regeneration and bottle it up. I'm just looking at Venomancer. Venomancer appears to be building. I'm actually not dead sure what he's building. He's picked up Chainmail as well as a Sobi Mask. Not dead sure where he's going with that at the moment. But as it is right now, Tiny is actually not going towards an early blink. He did go for the drums instead. Picked up those drums just so he can help speed his team up. But also, it's not a terrible item as well. Tiny already has an innate speed boost with his ultimate there, so he can start moving really quickly in the end. Especially since he went for early phase boots as well. Yeah. So he's going to have a lot of speed. And he's not too worried about blinking, because at the moment they're mostly just focusing on... He's actually mostly focusing on throwing teammates in, like throwing somebody into slow, throwing the Venomancer ult, or throwing in Tidehunter, of course. The Ravage Bomb is the most obvious combo there. In fact, it's something we saw Mousesports when they first formed up their team. It was one of the first things they started doing, was just using Tiny just to throw Tidehunter all over the shop and just set up so many fights like that. So it's a time-proven tactic. It's very, very effective.
Yeah, we have a smoke up for TongFu. They placed the ward while running towards the middle lane. They're gonna try to pick off Tiny. Not sure if they're gonna be able to do it though, even though they have a roar, they have a follow-up stun from Leshrac. Here they come, roar hits, Leshrac stun, Edict as well, Thunder Strike, Kinetic Field, and TC is looking to be so dead right now. And he is, Chaos Knight picking up the last hit, 2 seconds on Enchantress, still Ravage being used, picks off the Leshrac. In the meantime, there goes a Phantasm, Reality Rift, too complex, too fluff and stuff. He was trying to heal himself, 2 seconds stun once again. Moo in a lot of trouble right now. He will get picked up. Tidehunter picking up the kill. Awoke on the chase, on the run. He is in a world of trouble. There goes the impotent damage in the Sprout together with Hannah Montana and Prophet picking up the kill. Okay, the gank was set up. The smoke was there. They picked off the Tiny, but they paid for it again with too many heroes to be worth it to kill off the Tiny, I do believe. I mean, Chaos Knight, you don't want to have that going down. You need a Chaos Knight to be farmed up. It's going to be your carry.
I think they do want to farm, although at the same time, Lone Druid is catching up 3.4k at the moment, although he's probably looking for a 20-minute radiance at the moment. I think, as there is a port coming up top, they are going to try and catch it. How they get the stun down, there's the trap as well with the Sprout, tosses him up in the air, and Enchantress going to intercept. There's an Impetus going to finish things off, Fluff and Stuff taking that kill, and things are looking relatively troublesome. Indeed, things are looking relatively troublesome though for TongFu at the moment, although they're going to charge in here and find probably nothing, as Ixmark is... Oh, they can see him, they know where he's going. The Hawk's keeping him spotted up, and Ixmark knows this, hits it with the gas, says go away. He's actually going to try and get the kill on that. Yeah, the poison will burn it down. He's still fleeing for his life though, Sheever. It looks like he's in a lot of trouble.
Yes, there's no vision for... Oh, Glimpse actually being used. Stun from the Shrek is not gonna be used just yet. Reality Rift, and that's a kill. Beastmaster's Access getting that. A lot of heroes used for a kill on a Venomancer. I'm not sure if that is worth it, because all of these heroes are leaving their lanes purely for that. And of course Lone Druid is still farming, or, you know, after he is back up alive. But it looks like TongFu is just roaming around and they're only picking up those little heroes, or they pick up a kill and they trade away more kills than or more deaths for the kills that they take. And that will lead to the experience graph spiking towards complexity, not because they have more kills, even though they do, but mostly because TongFu is just roaming around and not getting enough done. Same thing goes for the gold. Almost 7.5k.
I honestly don't mind too much, as long as they keep Complexity distracted so Lone Druid can get some time to farm, because that's the issue at the moment. Complexity is actually finding time to actually go after Hal and shut him down a bit every now and then. It is slowing him down quite a bit. He's back up to 3.5k after that last gank, but I feel if they just keep moving around, because Chaos Knight doesn't need that many items. He can hit pretty hard as long as he can find some space to use Reality Rift, because as long as he can get in there with the level 16 and get in a few hits, it's like fighting. It's like fighting 4 of him at once. It is incredibly painful, and when you don't have a great hard carry in the first place, I mean, even a farmed up Lone Druid is probably going to go toe-to-toe decently with the Tiny or the or the Nature's Prophet in this case. So I don't think it's too much trouble if Mu focuses on ganking after his decent start.
It depends on how much
That
they give
said,
away, though.
he does hit hard.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a lone druid again, dying. How? Drops. Nature's Prophet picking up the last hit with a haste rune from Tiny, a Gale, a toss, and a TP in from Nature's Prophet. Just a secure kill again for Complexity up on that lone druid. Second time in a row, same location also. And Enchantress is building towards a 4-staff. Just to get maybe extra damage on her impetus. It's not a really really common item up on him. 4-staffs are always useful. I'm a fan of 4-staffs. It's more like a supporty kind of item also. And Tiny destroying a tower on the top lane. He is doing good, and he almost got his Aghanims complete. Just needs 1 more K gold, and then he has that complete. Pipe up on the Tidehunter in the meantime. Complexity building up towards those items that will allow them to put more pressure onto TongFu, more than they already do now, because right now they're just picking off heroes one by one. While, well, one by one, or take towers after a gank from TongFu. But they're getting ready for those team fights, which we are expecting, because that's why you pick up a Tidehunter.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially with that Tiny, they can kick off the team by any time they want to. Just get everything set up. Although at the moment, Beastmaster has popped an invisibility rune, and he does have a Mechanism done. Can get really, really good for their attrition value. But at the same time, it comes down to how. And the issue is, like you said, they just keep getting picked off in that top lane. But I think the relic is done. There it is. Yeah, it's just being transported out. But that is going to be a late Radiance indeed. 20 minutes, and all he has is a relic. Still working towards that recipe. But down in the bottom lane, there is a bit of a gank happening. As it looks like Venomancer has actually been cleaned up, although they are going to counter there and bring down the Beastmaster. And also Sansheng is going to take it out. So Sheever, it looks like Complexity, they are really punishing, absolutely punishing TongFu at the moment for picking up that Tidehunter. Picking up that
the Venomancer. Yeah. That was exactly the same as what happened with the Tiny earlier. I mean, they saw the Venomancer thinking, hey, that's an easy kill. So there was a roar, there was a stun, Venomancer still did his ultimate, and then Complexity came in and just made sure that they took those kills. Those 2 heroes that were there, oh sorry, another stun, it was a kinetic field rather, because of course it was a disruptor, not a Shrek. But yeah, they punish the gankers, and that is not something you want to do. If you want to have a gank, you want to kill off 1 hero and then back off, not kill a hero and then get killed off yourself, because that is not worth it. Definitely not if you're gonna give TC on his Tiny more kills, and now he has a Mechanism as well, and the Courier is actually going towards the secret shop because his Aghanims is complete. 21 minutes, doing a nice job there with Yale on the top lane in a lot of trouble. Sprouts himself, but Mu in the same Sprout. There goes the Phantasm, Reality Rift. Gale still hits though, 3 seconds on Yale will go down. Venomancer on his way back. Stun will still hit though because Cabo is there as well. Nova, Edict, Reality Rift, double kill. Mu, at least this time TongFu trades, well, not trades heroes, and that's the point, they are not trading heroes. Finally, they're just getting kills without being killed off for it, even though, as I say that, there's gonna be a toss, I think, a toss on Hannah Montana from TC, so that they can ravage and kill off some heroes. Let's see though, there's gonna be a gush, that is 1 hero down. Is there gonna be more? There might be more. There is the toss, there is the ravage, only Sansheng though, and he will go down. 2 heroes dropping, TongFu on the run, they don't want to be here anymore. Chaos Knight backing out, and okay, so I take back what I said earlier, they did trade heroes 2 for 2. And not really in favor. Well, actually it was quite even. Quite even. Venomancer, Nature's Prophet for a Disruptor and a Shrek.
I think Venomancer is having, X-Mark was having one of those moments. He said, why did I come and try to help you? There was no chance I was going to live through this. And just basically just got completely obliterated by those heroes. At the moment, Fluff and Stuff has got his 4 stuff just getting shipped out to him there, I believe. Looks like in the mid Tiny, the Aghanims is done. Now, the question is he going to go for these more either safer Soul Curious to pick up some attack speed, or are we going to see something crazy like a Mjolnir, or even the super crazy Mask of Madness? I have seen that a few times on Aghanim's Tiny.
I'm not sure. I think it will depend on how much farm he's going to get, how much more kills he's going to get, and how hard they can pressure TC, I mean TongFu still in the time to come. He already has 1k gold up already from the kills, also just now of course, and it looks like Complexity is all of them gathering around that middle lane and are looking to push. They can't do that with that tree in the hands of the Tiny.
Just shipping out a bottle back to himself. Gonna go up in this mid. It looks like, yeah, you're right, they are just gonna push up this mid lane, Sheever. I don't know if they can hold it. Has not Burning, how has his Radiance done, I believe? There it is. Yeah, it's just pushing the top lane there, making sure everything hangs back, just getting a lot of extra money. So I don't know. We haven't really seen them engage yet with this Radiance up, and that could be all the difference it makes. We're seeing how fast a Lone Druid can get out of control with those Radiant Sheever.
Yeah, he's gonna be hard to stop. I mean, the longer the game goes on, the more big he becomes, and TongFu smokes up in the middle lane. I'm not sure where they're thinking they're gonna go, but they're not gonna find anybody there. Now they know that everybody's on the bottom lane. And we saw Complexity earlier, they backed off after the tower got denied, and they're gonna just go for the next tier 2 tower. And this is actually the last tier 2 tower still standing, and here comes TongFu, or at least I think they are gonna come. No, they're not. They're gonna actually back off. Tower drops and they leave, and they go back towards their base. Complexity, they're probably kind of puzzled. Where is TongFu? Why aren't they defending, and why aren't they coming in somewhere? They don't know where to go. They have the Ravage up there. They are ready to fight should it come to that, with Tiny being close by. And he actually picked up a Hyperstone, so he's gonna go for that, well, either Mjolnir or Assault Cuirass. At least not a Mask of Madness, which I'm quite happy about. But, yeah, either one of the two. At least the Hyperstone already there.
I think it's probably going to be the Assault Cuirass, because Tiny can use the bonus armor for sure, so it is generally the safer build. But I have seen crazy players like Sing Sing pop out those Mask of Madness, even Dandy, in some competitive matches, I have seen them pop out that Mask of Madness when they're feeling crazy. But in this case, they really could use that extra physical resistance, the physical resistance against a hero like Chaos Knight. As well as the fact that it will also help cut down the damage from Leshrax's Edict and Beastmaster's Axes as well.
Yeah, and you're talking about physical resistance. There is now two... Oh, wait a second. Oh, that's a fake one. There's now two Ghost Scepters up on the Dire side. Sorry, on Complexity right now. There's one up on the Enchantress, another one up on the Venomancer, and they just don't want to get pressured by that Chaos Knight as well as by a Lone Druid. It's just the best answer, and there's not that much spell damage coming through from TongFu, apart from, of course, the Leshrac. And maybe you can count the Disruptor as well, but you know, if you're caught by the Disruptor Static Storm, then you're probably gonna die anyway. As a support, as those two supports, that is. So
I think it's just coming down to the fact that they all pretty much, it's just coming down to the fact that if Chaos Knight tries to, because when he does that Reality Rift, it drags his Phantasms with him. So if he messes up and goes after them, they can instantly hit, and suddenly Chaos Knight and all of his illusions are out of position, trying to hit something that they can't possibly damage. So it just becomes very, very frustrating for him to have these heroes that can basically screw him up like that. And just really, it really helps them kite, especially when Enchantress also has its force stuff as well, because this is an issue with melee carriers. It's just they get kited really easily. Although I should mention that Enchantress is going to be able to steal some of those Phantasms, which will probably annoy Chaos Knight just a bit, because it cuts down a lot of his damage and turns it against him.
Yeah, and that is indeed a lot of damage, and if you're combining that with just... Well, there is of course some AoE damage coming out from TongFu, but not that much. I mean, Edict will get split. It won't be dying all that fast, so it will be doing its full duration. As I see Ajax Mike constantly in battle with the Courier, it seems like. I don't think he thinks he has enough inventory slots, but now he's gonna ward and use the wards. Look how careful he is. He's just wanna place the wards and then back off again, but he's being so careful. And now he's actually asking, TC, you want to come with me to help me ward? Sure. No, actually he's not doing that. Never mind.
Gonna follow Fluff and stuff. It's not a bad idea. It's definitely. Oh no, they're going for a smoke gang. That's what they want to do. Here we go. So they're gonna go off looking for a smoke gang, and if they can find well, they're probably gonna find Beastmaster. They're looking in the jungle. Lone Druid is off doing his own thing in the other lane, while his bear probably pushes another lane altogether, most likely. And there we go. Awoke in some trouble. Gets slowed there by the Enchantress. The Imp is doing a lot of damage, and now the Sprout gonna seal the deal. An easy kill for Complexity. They get the pick off. Another question is, can they push in and take a Rax? Now's the time. 45 seconds on Beastmaster before it hops back up Sheever, and they do have a really good teamfight presence with Hannah Montana able to just get lobbed into there and pop off a level 3 Ravage.
Yeah, and the question is going to be, is Lone Druid ready to help his team? Right now he's on the bottom lane, he's going to try to take a team on tower, but will probably be forced to TP out afterwards. The Radiance is done, but on the top lane the team fight is ready to be set up by Complexity. They want to get the tier 2 tower, tier 3 tower rather, and they can't really... TongFu can't really do that much against it. Lone Druid still sticking on that bottom lane, while TC is just getting free reign. 4 seconds done, but they can't go in on it. And Hannah Montana takes his place, and that's gonna be a tier 3 tower going down. The bear there now, there's a lone druid, but he is taking a lot of damage here from these creeps. Look at his health from the bear dropping. He only got a radiance, nothing more. And it's just, he will have to be resummoned shortly. Axis will fly. Barrack's still alive though, but look at the Venomancer force that Mike has been able to put up in the meantime. And there goes the toss. There goes the Chaos Knight Phantasm there as well. A Venomancer ulti. Ravage being used. Moo is the first one to go down here. Awoke trying to do what he can. Mechanism helps out, but it's not enough. Pipe up now for Hannah Montana. And they just want the barracks. They don't want to even chase the heroes. They just want the barracks. They're gonna kill off the bear now. Or at least if they can, yeah they can, and there goes the range barracks as well, and they will probably, they don't even need to go back, they'll probably just rotate to the middle lane and go for the barracks or for the tier 3 tower there, because look at their speed, it's like almost full up. The only thing that's missing is some mana on Hannah Montana. Oh, Avalanche toss hello people, here's Kabu to kill off, and Chandra's picking up the kill. Moo being turned into a chicken, into a piglet rather. He can't go anywhere right now, and is gonna drop Venomancer, picking up the last hit, and this is looking so dangerously bad for TongFu right now. The lone druid is not farmed enough to take this yet. 29 minutes in, we're gonna see another melee barracks dropped, and the range barracks probably afterwards, because still complexity still alive. And they're not dropping anything, and they just go, yeah, I was gonna say, GG is called. TongFu not getting the first point from the first game. It's complexity picking up the point for this group stage match for the International 2. And very securely so. What do you reckon that TongFu could have done differently to prevent this?
Oh, good grief. I just think they didn't. I don't think they put enough pressure on Complexity. The fact that Complexity had those double junglers running around just causing havoc up in the top lane, I feel like even though they were winning the mid lane, it really wasn't doing a whole lot. Because it was mostly only shutting down a Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet just said screw it and went into the jungle and farmed there anyway. They didn't really capitalize on that. So Nature's Prophet still got his farm happening. They didn't really shut him down that hard because Prophet can farm. Prophet can farm the jungle. It's not a big deal for him. And they just let Venomancer as well as Enchantress, who completely owned the top lane, was just left under a bus. He just could not get that radiance up. And of course, he kept getting picked off like 2 or 3 times in a row. Just kept getting picked off time and time again. They probably could have put down some defensive lane wards for him. And he might have been a little bit more defensive, gone and hidden in the jungle a bit later in the game. But as it is, coL, they played a smart game and they managed to pull out a win there. Just really strong pushing, and this went well for a really strong lineup. A big beefy lineup, Tiny and Titan just working together, running up the front and just beating down on buildings. That's all it took.
Yeah, even before Tiny ban. We'll see in game number 2. I'm gonna throw out an outro, and we'll be shortly back, or back shortly with game number 2 between Complexity and TongFu.